popular you are, the more you get away with. Do you know what I mean? If Tyson Fury can post up photos with a pint and literally pint in his hand straight after, if I'd done that, that's able to get banned for 6 months. You know?
Do you reckon?
Yeah, they're like that. I think it's just I don't know.
Did you see recently the stuff with Eddie Hearn on TalkSport?
Yes, I did watch it back because it was all like my mate Joel Bell was like, you need to watch it.
Yeah.
Great, absolutely great. It was good little conversation as well. But I don't know who come off better. I think it was a bit of 50-50 to be fair.
I'm with you.
But the good thing about Eddie Hearn, he made it look like, I forgot what his name. Who's the other guy?
Simon Jordan.
Simon Jordan. Yeah, didn't know like little bits he didn't understand about boxing, and it makes you realise that he's right with what he was saying in some respects, but others he doesn't know what's in the contract. So don't start telling Eddie Hearn what's in the contract, because Eddie Hearn knows what's in the contract. You know,
when he was like, "This is boxing. I do boxing. You may know about every other business element, but boxing is my business."
And he's like not trying to act that he's smarter than this Simon Jordan, because he's like, in everything else you're smarter than me, but this is boxing. I do it day in, day out, and you're trying to tell me what's in the contract that I write myself or his team writes himself. Do you know what I mean? It's just,
What I like about Eddie is like he played it off classy. Do you know what I mean? He was classy with it. Like, and he also give him a few digs. Yeah. And then one of the digs was like personal, but then he pulled back and was like, "Oh, apologies." And I was like, "Well played, mate." Yeah,
it's good. It's good little watch. I did watch it back. So
Mate, I'm interested. Obviously, you know, with the current fighters and whatnot, I wanted to start off with this question today. Who are your top 3 fighters of all time?
Of all time? Oh, God, it's hard. I don't know. I love Canelo. Canelo Alvarez.
He's the boy.
Is my guy just because I think I base my boxing style on him. You've got to have like Muhammad Ali in there just like for what you stand for outside the ring. Have you ever watched Ali?
Yeah, sick, mate.
Unbelievable. I've watched it so many times, but every time it seems to change. I don't know if they've got a couple of different ways the film is, whether they have a shorter version and longer version, but great film.
I've never seen it, mate.
Sick, mate.
Go home, watch it. It's great. It's not even like a full-on boxing film, but it's stuff behind it, you know, when he's
like a life film.
The story. Yeah.
When he got his where he was in the army. Well, they tried to get him to fight in the army and then didn't, and all the story behind that, and he was banned for 3 years because of it. He didn't go and fight.
I so much prefer films like that. Real life films, life stories, sport related as well.
Exactly. And Will Smith is unbelievable in it. Unbelievable. And he's literally like, it's Muhammad Ali in his day. You know?
Yeah, he nails it in terms of like the expressions and like the hand gestures and everything like that.
Even boxing, like with his shadow boxing, he looks just like Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, he does.
He does very, very well. So, but yeah.
All right, so we've got Ali, we've got Canelo, and who's in the third choice?
I like Arturo Gatti.
That's a curveball, mate.
I'm just gonna say that out there, just because he was just a warrior. Do you know what I mean? And and his story and stuff, and I can't name a third one. But if I had to, it would be Arturo Gatti. He's just like, now I have my robe just like he did, like short, no hood. I might change it this time. But the robe I have at the minute is like based on Arturo Gatti's style, sort of. Yeah.
Oh mate, I love that. I would love to be able to like choose a robe and like shorts and stuff. I always look at boxers because like some boxers have like the sickest style. I think Gervonta Davis has got good style. Not outside the ring. I think it's a bit too much for me. But like his ring stuff is unreal. But like some boxers have no idea. So like it's pretty easy to like stand out in terms of like having good clobber and that. Yeah, for sure. It's definitely it's something you start out in boxing. This is what you want, isn't it? It's what you like. When you're a kid, you look at all the flash stuff. Like me, it was Floyd Mayweather at the time. Yeah. We used to stay up. Me and all the boys just stay up and watch Floyd Mayweather fights. And it was more interesting seeing what he was going to come out in, not like, who he was coming out with as well.
And it was like his shorts were so plain, but just so classy.
Sick, yeah.
And I even went and got some like fluffy shorts. And I'm a white boy from Dorset. I went out and got some fluffy shorts.
You got gas, mate.
Yeah, my first pair didn't even have my name on it or anything. It was my first pair I got made from Susie Wong. Fluffy, 2 colours, black with a little bit of red in because they were our club colours at the time. yeah, I'm a white boy from Dorset.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I can see how it's done. Obviously, mate, you mentioned about, you know, Canelo and taking some inspiration from him in terms of your style. How did that sort of come about? Were you just like watching film of him, like watching clips and just sort of like picking it up, or like was it more like natural you sort of were like fighting like that?
Just I've got the same sort of build as him. Obviously, he started off at light middleweight. I think he won his first world title at light middleweight. He's stocky, he's short like myself for the weight. I'm not that short, by the way. I'm like 5'9". At a push. Yeah.
Slip does that.
Yeah.
Fucking all right, son.
Does that. He adds the half.
Let the viewers know, yeah.
But it just goes,
short kings, mate.
Yeah. And how great he is. He's 5'9" and he's gone up to light heavyweight and won a world title.
Unbelievable.
Do you know what I mean? It's just his head movement, everything. I just based myself off of that, you know, his style. But how cool is this? Like, I've been called up next week, gonna go spar John Ryder.
Sick.
Who's fighting Canelo next on their like Mexican Independence Day. And I've actually been called in to help him out, help out John Ryder. When idols become your rivals, eh?
Yeah, mate.
So, sort of.
Oh, mate, that's actually sick,
yeah,
mate.
so,
you should wear the Canelo gloves, mate.
Yeah. And then like I've got like Conor Ben on that on social media and stuff, and I like share all Canelo's stuff. And then he's gonna see me in the gym because he's in the same gym as Conor Ben and stuff. And he'd be like, right, he's a Canelo fan. Let him have it. Let him have it.
Do you get that like when you go into like other boxing gyms, like where you're aware of what who the person like kind of supports and who their sort of like favorite is and stuff?
No, I don't think it's like that. I think they get you in because you're based on a style. Like they see your style, they see I'm like short, they see I can move my head well.
Yeah.
So they get you in because they think you'll emulate Canelo.
Yeah.
Better than sort of anyone else, you know. So it's good, and that's what I want. Bournemouth's Canelo, I am. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good place
I'm
to be.
I'm not ginger, but yeah, if I can help him out, it's all experience for me. Like my next opponent is also a southpaw, and John Ryder's a southpaw.
Okay.
Slightly different styles. He's a bit more of a shorter, stocky, strong southpaw. I think my next opponent, so I don't know too much about him, but he looks like tries to box a little bit more and stuff. So it's all good experience. He's 2 weights above me, John Ryder, so the weight, well, he's got the weight advantage and stuff, which is good. I'm getting used to getting hit by bigger, stronger boys, you know. Can you
feel that power shift then when that happens? So when you're fighting somebody a couple of weight categories above, is there a vast difference?
Yeah, for sure. You can feel it. The speed's probably like the thing that gets me the most. You know what I mean? The power, because when they're a bit slower, you sort of see the shots coming a bit more. But obviously, good guys like John Ryder and stuff can hide their shots, so they don't even need to be that fast. They hide their shots better. They cover them, you know, set them up right up well to land those big shots. Where like the more inexperienced people need a little bit more speed because they can't set up shots as well. You know.
How do you think you're going to get on against them? You're backing yourself.
Yeah, well, you have to. It's this game. Do you know what I mean? You have to back yourself. But like I said, it's all experience for me. He's at the top level. He's fighting the pound for pound, one of the pound for pound greatest. So that's just massive experience for me, massive confidence boost going into my next fight. And that's what I need. That's what I need.
How many possible opportunities do you get off the back of something like that? When you're helping someone else sparring, how many opportunities do you get off the back of it? So say you were to like fight really, really well, and like, you know, there's people watching and whatnot, like do opportunities come of it? Do they bear you in mind for the next one? Yeah, they do. And then they get you back in for sparring. Obviously I've been in sparring with like Eubank. They see you're about and you're a good lad, so they will get you in again. You know, I've been called in for Conor Ben before Eubank. I haven't actually sparred Conor Ben because at the time I'd just come back from America. I was a bit overweight. It was when he was lined up to fight Eubank. Got called in from both of them. Both of their camps. They both called me up.
Who are you choosing?
I'm choosing
not to win, but to go to camp. Like what camp would you prefer?
I would choose Conor Ben, I think.
Yeah,
Conor Ben. Just he's a nicer lad when I met him before. He just definitely Conor Ben. But
I'm team Conor Ben as well.
Yeah, I was away sparring Eubank early January, and he's nice. He's got nicer. Like I sparred him when I was like younger, when I was like 18 and he wouldn't even say hello to you.
Oh, that's rude.
He comes in now and does say hello and stuff, but
he got humbled, didn't he?
he did after, but he did after. But you know, it's sparring. I'm there for a job. At the end of the day, they're paying me good money, so I don't care. You know, I was there. They just told me when to be, you know, what time to be at the gym, and that was it. It was business. It's my job, so that's why I was there.
Yeah, mate. I can imagine with the sparring of those guys, like it's only going to like not only elevate your skill set, but just also the drive, right? Because you're going to be like, I want to be in that position. I want to be able to be bringing my sparring partners into my gym at that level and whatnot. I'm obviously interested. You know, it's been a hell of a journey to get to that point and your point now. What age did you start boxing?
Started boxing about, I think it was about 13, 14. I say probably 14.
I actually saw a video of you recently at the old Steam Fair.
Yeah. I shared that yesterday.
That's what I seen.
I'll show you afterwards. It's great.
It's class.
Right? So basically, a little story behind that before I go into boxing. So I was about 15 at the time. And have you ever been to the Steam Fair?
No,
At
mate.
the time, they used to have this like this boxing thing, but I think they stopped it now because of health and safety and stuff. Everyone's got a bit stricter.
What was it? Like the setup is like it's almost in a tent.
It's in a tent and there's a ring
in there.
Outside, they're calling and saying, anyone want to fight? I think like on the Saturday night, they get a few like wrestlers in and stuff, and like they actually get people in so they can sell tickets. And it's just all about, it's like just a fair, just like a bit of fun. But they're like, oh, anyone want to have a fight here? Just like bit of fun, no winner, no loser. Just you're getting in and just having a little scrap. So I was like 15 years old, could take on the world at the time. I'm like, yeah, go on then. So I got like 15 years old, big group of lads, pissed up lads. Like these are like obviously from the base in, I think there were a load of squaddies. So my mate started talking to them. They're all having a few drinks. They're, go on to his mate. His mate's like 28 years. Well, the kid that I boxed was like 28 years old.
It's actually ridiculous.
Yeah, and I was like 15 at the time, and they were all like trying to egg on his mate, going, oh, he's only a kid, go on. He's like, yeah, go on then. Tattoos and all that. That is like, so I'm just like, yeah, all right, I know I could box. He's probably he's a bit intoxicated, you know. Gets in the ring, and I like absolutely chin him. Yeah, I chin him, and I stop. I don't like take the piss. As soon as I've hit him with a good shot, they stopped it. Absolutely loved it. A little funny story off of that, like a few months later, I had like my second or third bout in Swindon. I was in the change room and some like lad pointed at me and goes, I've got a video of you on my phone. I was like, what? Gets like a video from a different angle from the one that I reshared because like he was there filming it at that time, and I'm seeing him. I think his son was boxing on the same show as me in Swindon. So yeah, it's just mad. It's mad.
That's class. Imagine that was you though. And you had some 15-year-old bang you out.
Ice you out. But to be fair, at 15, I was a unit. I was just like, well, the same size I am now, but 15-year-olds are not my size. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like they used to call me roids in school and stuff because I was just always big and like muscly for my age. But then everyone overtook me.
Yeah. The thing is though, even if you are 15 in a unit, like if you're 28, you can't be getting iced out by 15.
Yeah, mate.
At the Steam Fair as well. I don't know how big it is, but there's obviously people watching
in front of the boys as well.
Yeah, all his boys. Obviously, all his boys were just out having a few drinks because they got a little army camp in Blandford. So I think they were all obviously on a little weekend, just having a little weekend drink. They love a drink anyway. So he's like, yeah, go on, get in there. And must have been a little bit embarrassing for him. But yeah.
I reckon he ain't lived it down now.
He's still getting it. He's still sharing it.
Yeah. I'll share that every year of my life.
That's class.
Yeah, every single year of my life, I'm resharing that. So for sure.
Obviously, you know, you start boxing relatively late at sort of like 14. Before that, you were doing some Speedway, right?
Yeah, that's it. I was racing Speedway since I was about 9, 10. And
it's a crazy sport.
I was going to say, why Speedway?
My dad was doing it, and my brother was doing it. I was the youngest of 3 brothers. They started doing it. So I obviously wanted to go. Had a go. I was like 3 times second in Britain.
That's decent, to be fair.
Never won. A bit annoying, but that was on the grass track Speedway, same sort of thing. I went to the British under 15s on the Speedway and stuff, but just started costing a lot of money. Me and Dad was having a few fallouts over it because it was like anything if we fell off, it was just, everything was just money. It was just like literally just chucking money at it.
It's an expensive sport, isn't it?
Exactly.
Because of the motorbikes, the maintenance of the bikes, the traveling to the events.
Exactly. And we're not from my dad always done the best he could for us, as in that sense, but we're not a mega rich family, and you'll come up against kids that will chuck in dough at it, and it's just, you can't compete. And that's why I think I went more towards the boxing side of things, because it was, you know, it's how much you put into it is what you get out of it.
So were you getting like a bit of like friction with your dad over the Speedway, like haven't fallen out basically?
Yeah, because obviously I was young, obviously weren't working, training. It wasn't friction, it's just like, it was pressure on him, because I was competing at a good level, and he felt like there was more pressure to chuck more money into it and stuff. And it was just, so yeah, so sort of ended up coming away from it a little bit.
So what, did it just like fizzle out from that point?
Yeah, well, I think I got a bit older, then dad was like, right, you're going to have to start paying your way a little bit more now, so you have to go to work and stuff. And I was like, that's fair enough. But yeah, and then it just started fizzling out after that. I don't know why boxing took over, because obviously I sort of started boxing in Speedway at the same time. Boxing started becoming more important.
And with the boxing, obviously, like when you first went in there, am I right in thinking you went in there with your brother?
Yeah. Yeah, I've got a good little story about that. So obviously I was still raised Speedway in that at the time, but my mum didn't want me to box. So I used to lie to her and say, I'm just going to go stay at my brother's house. He just lived in a little flat in Wimborne at the time. So I'd go to school, get on the school bus, walk to his house, stay at his house. He would like pay all my funds for boxing, take me to the gym, used to even wear his like training gear or whatever, because I couldn't take it to school because my mum would know, or I'd leave it at school and then go home on the bus back the next day. And so we lied to my mum for about a year.
Was your brother boxing at this time?
No, he never boxed. He was just, when he was a bit younger, he just got in a bit of trouble out in town, you know, fighting and things and stuff. He'd done a bit of boxing, never actually had a fight. But I used to have a fight in school and stuff as well. And mum used to hate it. And she used to always think I'd like turn out like Dean, just out fighting and use it in the wrong manner. So that's why she was against it and didn't want me to do it. So yeah, that's why we had to lie to her for about a year. And then I had my first fight coming up, and I just had to tell her, because I think I needed my medical forms signed and things, from an actual parent or guardian or whatever. So I was just like, Mum, look, I have been boxing, but I've been committed to it for like a year now. They think I'm good enough to spar, good enough to fight, sorry. Like, please, like, she did hit the roof, but she sort of come back around to it now, and she come around to it straight away, really. I just said, look, Mum, I'm gonna put it in the like, I'm gonna use it to a good way. And it probably did, because I was a lot more like tired going into school than I would be causing trouble.
Why do you think you used to cause trouble at school? You mentioned earlier that you used to have quite a lot of fights, but like, why were you getting amongst the fights? Why were you causing trouble?
I don't really know. I just love to fight. I love to fight. Just my mates as well. They knew I was the one that would have a fight. So if they had a trouble, it was always, Lee would sort it out, you know? And it's just one of those things when you're at school and you're a kid, it's all that hard man syndrome. And
all lads want that when they're at school, don't they? They don't want to be the hard
man. Like, now you look back and you cringe like hell. And people still know you, like people that you haven't seen for ages. I still think I'm going to have that same mindset in that in school. You can see they're a little bit like, don't know how to take you. It's like, mate, it's been
13
years.
It's
like 27 now. Like we're not 14, 15, like thinking we're some sort of hard nut. Do you know what I mean? It's but just, I think, just extra energy as well. And I just loved it. I love being involved.
It's weird because like fighting is so natural. Like, it's such a like primitive thing that like, I swear, like as a, like when you're like that age, like you'll just gravitate to it.
Yeah.
Like if there's something going on, or there's like boxing, or even like fucking, I remember WWE, mate. Yeah. I'd be like obsessed with that. Like
I used to love WWE.
Do you know what I mean?
I was in denial it was fake for so long.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like it's like anything that was involved with like sort of combat sports or anything like that, I was on it. I was hooked to it. Do you know what I mean?
That's what I mean with in school. I actually got called into the office once, and it was a fight that was nothing to do with me. But the head teacher called me in and said, look, Lee, like, I don't know what's going on here, but any incident that happens in school, you're always there. You're one of the first people there. Like, are you the instigator, or like, why is it you? Like, I know this wasn't you. You weren't in the fight, but you're there and you're part of it. And I think I got like a day's isolation for it. And I was like, it wasn't even me, but I'm just always there. It's because I just loved it.
Yeah.
I just loved it. if it wasn't me, it was great. I could watch it and just like egg it on a little bit, you know. So
Mix it up.
Yeah,
Standard,
it
mate.
was good. But
So once you obviously went to your mum after the year of lying to her, and she, well, to start, she didn't take it well. But after that, how did it go? So you got your medical and had your first bout.
yeah, that's it. Had a medical on my first bout, January 2011, I think it was. Stopped the lad in the first round. It's quite funny because I was like, we were boxing, and like then you know sort of everyone in the area, or had mates from different schools and stuff. They knew who I was boxing. This kid called Jimbo Cooper.
Hell of a name, mate.
Yeah, hell of a name.
Yeah.
He's like powerlifting world champion or something now. But it was that, and he was like a hard nut from Porchester School. Like, I'm from Wimborne.
Yeah.
All right.
The
This
little
is
village.
Porchester.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I thought I was tough, and everyone's like, mate, yeah, Jimbo's hard. He's tattoos. He was a year
Jimbo's
above
hard.
me. He's like he was a year above me. 'Cause
Jimbo's done me in. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
That's why I keep laughing at.
Jimbo.
Yeah.
You're
But
like,
he's still
fuck.
around here, you know. He's probably a hard case. I wouldn't want to fight him now. He's about 4 times my weight.
Bit of Jimbo.
So yeah, so we had this fight coming up, and like he had tattoos. He was a year above me.
How old are you? 14? He's got tattoos.
Yeah, no, I was 15. I just turned 15.
Yeah.
But like back then in the amateur days, still now, you fight within 12 months of your age. I was one of the oldest in my year. He was obviously one of the youngest, but he was in the year above.
16 barbed wire tattoos, I'm imagining,
Yeah.
over the arms.
Yeah.
Jimbo, like.
Yeah, and then I just stuck to my boxing. I can remember getting in there. I had the whole place packed out. My brother was steaming. Had the day off school to watch Rocky movies.
Ah, sick.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was another thing my mum kicked off about. But when I had a cooked breakfast in the morning and everything.
breakfast.
Yeah, just like shit you
I know,
just
yeah.
don't know about. Like I was ill all that week actually, so that's why I could eat a bit more. I was ill all that week and
Fueled
also-
up.
and I was at home, so I don't think I actually went to school all that week. But I was okay by the day of the fight was the first night I was okay. And I was like saying to my mum, like, please don't tell Dean, because it was like the Monday I fell ill, like puking my guts up. I was like, don't tell Dean, he's going to think I'm bottling it. Please don't tell Dean, because he's going to think you're a shit ass. You're bottling it now, like, because you've haven't got a fight coming up. And I had so many people come in. But yeah, turned up, got the stoppage in the first round. Great memories.
Mate, obviously, you know, getting the stoppage first round, huge. But the year prior that is obviously like, it's quite early to start boxing in terms of getting carded. Obviously, in terms of your skill set, like where you're at with the speedway racing, like transition sounds like it was quite, I guess, incremental, because like, you know, you're hiding it from your mum. But like, obviously, in terms of like the love for boxing and like the natural talent, do you think you had like initial talent from the start?
I wouldn't say I had initial talent. I just thought I was like a little tough nut for my age. Like,
Bottle.
yeah, I had bottle and I could have a fight. Don't get me wrong, scared. Still to this day, I get scared before every fight. Like, it's not that, but I know I'll always see it through. Like, no matter how outnumbered I think I am, or like the odds are stacked against me, I'm going into that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I've
I
just
love it.
got that about me. Like, I don't know, like some people don't. As soon as they see a little bit of fear, it's see you later. Do you know what I mean? But I'm just different. Do you know what I mean? I just don't, I've always have been from that early age.
Where do you think that comes from?
Having older brothers.
Yeah.
Like my older brother Dean used to get in trouble, and that probably egged me on having a couple of fights when I was younger in the park and stuff. And it's just like when you just got that mentality about you. My mum's Northern Irish as well.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, so that's
Got it in your blood.
Yeah, she's a scary woman. So yeah, it's just, I think it's just all come from there really.
Do you think the speedway racing, because obviously speedway racing is 0 to 60 in what, like
Couple of seconds.
Couple of
Yeah,
seconds,
it's
mad.
faster than an F1 car.
yeah, like it's insane. Like, do you think that just sort of like enabled you to like reduce some of the fear when it came to the boxing as well?
It's the same sort of like adrenaline rush, but it's different. It's all a bit different. But I sort of preferred solo sports, as you can probably tell. I used to play rugby a bit, but like football, and I was never really into in school, because I'd rather it just all be down to me. You know, if it fails, it's because of me. I don't like passing the blame. I never have been the one to pass the blame. Did a little bit when you're younger, because you
Standard.
do. But like now I'm a little bit older, I sort of see like that's probably why. Because you can hide on a football pitch, you can hide on a rugby pitch. A little bit less on a rugby pitch, because if you do try hiding, you get pulled off the pitch because you've just broke the line of defence and someone's gone through and scored. You know what I mean? So
also there's that control element as well when you're doing a single sport.
Yeah.
You're in control of your own destiny. You know that
Exactly.
if you do this, then your chances are greater.
Yeah.
Whereas like football, you could do everything right, but the other 10 people can do everything wrong.
Bro, you're a team sports player, aren't you?
I'm more
you're
of
a
team.
hider. You hide.
Nah.
You are a team sports.
I'm a team sport player.
Yeah.
I'm a leader in the team sport, but I don't know. I've just always settled into team sports.
Cricket, football.
Yeah, they were my two main.
Yeah.
But yeah, team sport.
I reckon I'm a 50-50.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can play team sports and I can play on my own as well.
Would you
Do a bit of
prefer?
both. It's funner. Team sports.
Yeah,
are fun.
it
Come
sounds
on.
corny, doesn't it? But like the camaraderie in team sports, I love that. I
In
love the
changing
energy,
rooms,
having
I
the
love that
banter.
about rugby.
Yeah.
In the change rooms beforehand, or if you like play football for school or whatever, which I did a few times, and you're just in the change room before, you get like a day off school.
Yeah,
Not a day
yeah.
off school, a couple hours. And
sure.
you've got called out your lesson, Lee. You can go now because you've got to go to Fordingbridge to play rugby or football. And it's like, yes,
Yeah.
on the minibus,
With all the boys.
I can remember I started tying a condom round on a bit of string and hanging out the window. and shit like
Just
that.
standard banter.
Yeah.
Cal was doing tinnies in the back.
Yeah, we used to. Yeah, I remember this. We went and stayed around one of my mates' house, and there was this. We were playing for the cricket team, and there was 5 of us staying at my mate's house, and we had like a party before. We must have been 13, maybe 14. And the manager actually come and picked us up from his house in the morning. The school cricket coach, and he picked us up, got in the minibus, stacked all our cricket bags up, and we sat in the back with like leftover Stellas from the night before, like thinking we were proper cool. Just sat in the back, like hiding behind the bags, like drinking a tinny and like
Gotta
probably
go home and beat up your mum.
probably pretending to be pissed in the back, like, jumping around, like,
mate. But I love that about team sports. Like I love being able to be like with the energy, like it's transferred. Like I love to be like involved, but then I like just getting in my own head sometimes. Just fucking focusing and being like I'm going one-on-one with someone.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, it's a difficult one. I'd say I'm 50-50. You're definitely team. You're a single man when it comes to the odd sports.
Yeah. I could like team sports fun, but like it's just a fun element for me. It's not, and just to be around my mates and stuff. But there's nothing like I just don't think like I could ever take it as serious. Because I was a good rugby player. I was like, well, when I was younger, because I was always bigger than everyone. But then they sort of become bigger than me, and then it become an issue.
Mate, with the single sports, like obviously it's more like mind games. Do you ever sort of like do you now even to this day like still play mind games with yourself? Like for example, like if I'm lifting weights and I want to slow down, I'm like I can't help it, but in my head I'm like, come on you bitch, like you fucking need to do it. Like come on, like I will like drill myself. Like do you have any of that still?
90% is all mind. It's like I've just got Mark Newton on at the minute. He's a big does like CrossFit and all that side of things, and he helps me with my fitness and stuff like that. And he gets people in like really fit lads that are very good at CrossFit and stuff to try and push me and stuff in these sessions. And it is just 90% mind. You're just trying to mind fuck each other.
Yeah.
Like I know you're just like looking, I'm like trying to smile at them and that, like while you're doing it. And that's like the boxing ring. It is so similar to boxing because when you're there and you're feeling knackered, I ain't showing it on my face though. You just caught me with a body shot. I ain't showing it on my face.
Yeah,
and you're just like, you're looking and it's so, it's 90% of it is your mindset. And it's something I've like, I wish I realized this back in the amateur days. But I just sort of like, now you like listen to more podcasts and stuff, and it's all in the minds, and it is 90%. And that's why you push yourself every single day. Some days I've got to come in here and do, if my coach is away with the amateurs, I've got to push myself. And like you said, you're like, come on, what are you doing? What are you playing at?
What is that self-talk in your head?
I don't even know. I've all different kinds. You know what I mean? It changes from like, it depends how deep I've got to go.
Yeah. Mate, what's yours like?
Sometimes can be pretty brutal.
Yeah. It gets harsh, doesn't it?
Yeah, it gets a bit harsh. But like, I'm actually aware when it gets brutal in my head because sometimes I actually think like, should I really be telling myself?
I'm all for it. When I get brutal, I'm all for it. I'm like, yeah, go on. Like,
I'm like, yeah, but sometimes I'm like, should I be fucking saying that to myself?
yeah.
Stood in front of the mirror calling myself a bitch. I'm like, am I really got to be saying that to
I've
myself?
got a friend, I won't say his name, but like he literally told me that he calls himself like a cunt. And I was like, yeah, that one's like next level.
Yeah, that's
like,
no good.
I've not got to that depth, but like,
Yeah, I think cunt is like not that far. I think a bitch is worse because
Yeah.
it's such a
yeah.
you're a little bitch. Like, I think bitch is worse than cunt. Cunt's just like a bit angry. Do you know what I mean? But
Demoralising bitch.
Yeah, calling yourself a bitch is probably just like
It's deep.
yeah. Like, I'm not a bitch, mate. Like, I am not a fucking bitch. That's one thing. I am not a bitch.
That's what I'm saying though. Like
it hurts.
and it's weird because your mind knows how to play those tricks on yourself.
Yeah.
Like me calling myself a bitch, like doing a squat or like doing, chest press or whatever. It's like that's like a trigger for me to know that I can get more out of me. But like, it's actually a weird concept to be like in your own head talking to yourself mid set or like in the ring or whatever.
It's got to be done.
It's
got to be done. Just
You're
to get
bang
that
on.
extra, even if it's that extra 1-2% extra rep, it's just got to be done.
Mate, obviously when it comes to the boxing, first fight, take him out within a round.
Yep.
How does it sort of like carry on from there?
Obviously, I thought I was a world champion in
Rocky.
the making. Yeah, I thought I was a world champion in the making. I just knocked someone out in the first round or first 30 seconds or whatever it was. I was like, yeah, everyone was there. Like, it's like always had good support from my friends, family and stuff, sold out places from like a young age. Do you know what I mean? So, then went on. I think I boxed a week after. For the Western Counties, which is like your area. Do you know what I mean?
So that was the second fight you were in that already?
Yeah, just like I got asked to box and we were fighting the home counties, so Western Counties versus the home counties, beat that kid. He's about 6'8", it seemed like, but I'm just like 5'9", 5, yeah, so,
8.5.
yeah. So like, yeah, so he was
round
huge.
it up, brother.
Yeah, round it up. You've got to round it up. So yeah, boxed him, beat him, and then I think soon after that I had my third fight, which is my first loss. I took it hard, but because I was like winning quite well against kiddies, they matched me hard. He had like 11 fights at the time down in Weymouth Pavilion. I remember it. Still a close fight, but we were just like, it's amateur boxing, it's close fight, it could go either way.
Home show as well to Weymouth.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember going home, crying my eyes out. Like,
bro, talk us through it then. So obviously you go down to Weymouth, have the fight. Obviously, is this your first away fight?
No, because the Western Counties one was away in Tiverton, Taunton. I just can't even remember. A long time ago. Long time ago. Yeah. So yeah, it was another just an away fight. It's probably the first time where it was, because that one was like a neutral ground. That was the first one where it was like someone's home show.
It's different, isn't it?
Yeah, it is different. So yeah, and then the kiddie was a 10 times better boxer than me at the time. Just box medal. I was just a little tough nut that come forward swinging,
Tyson.
swinging wildly. Yeah, swinging wildly. So it was like a close bout, and then you jump out, and everyone's like, "Oh, I thought you got that, mate." Like, thought you got that, mate. I can remember actually being in this one. I'm like, I felt like I was losing because I was getting nailed in that as I was coming in. I can remember Weymouth have they used to have ring card girls. It was from the like local strip club. I can remember one like.
How old are you in the fight, by the way?
I was like, 15.
Oh,
my first year. I'm in the
all for
corner.
that.
I'm in the corner like this, right? The ring card girls are steaming, like stumbling through the ropes, like literally tripping up. She's come around, like winked at me and stuff. I'm just looking, my coach was like slapped me, said, "Lee, concentrate." And I'm just like, sorry. like 15 years old, and the ring card girls are steaming, like absolutely paralytic.
Hell of a show, that.
I don't even know if they can do it now with junior bouts, but at the time they did. Yeah. That was a good little, funny little story, which I look back on now, but back then I was crying. I was crying afterwards.
So obviously you lose. You know, you have a bit of a cry about it, feel a bit sad, which is, warranted. Then obviously, what does that do to you as a boxer? Because it's the first loss. Does it, fuel the fire for you to come back harder?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Like at the time it was like, oh, you take it hard because it's like your first loss. And I was seen as the hard kid in school, embarrassed to go in and tell everyone I lost at the weekend or whatever, all my mates. And it's because I never lost a fight in front of them. Do you know what I mean? So, but I did. But it just pushes you on. It's one of those, when you lose, which we see it all the time, like I help out at the amateur club now with Kev, you see some kids when they lose, that's it. They don't want any of that. They soon leave the gym, or you get the lads that lose, but they're out as soon as they lose, they're back at home doing the runs, making sure they become better. And I was always one of them. Even if I had a bad spar, I'd come home at 9 o'clock, be out on the road at 10. Do you know what I mean? Running. This is at 15, 16 years old. If I had a bad spar, just a mindset you've got to have to become something or think you're going to become something. Have that vision.
For sure. And obviously when, you know, you are boxing at this point, do you think the coaches saw like something naturally in you?
I think so. At the time, obviously Chris Billum was in the same boxing club as me. So he was like the idol in the club at the time. So I was chasing him. So we used to always like fight every year who was winning boxer of the season. It was like, I got it a few times, he got it a few times. And we always used to have a little thing, who was winning boxer of the year. So sort of me and him used to always push each other on sessions and stuff as amateurs, and we used to train extra on the weekends and things.
Oh mate, I love that.
Yeah.
You always need someone to chase. Like regardless of what like you're doing, like it always helps to have someone like who you're competing with. Like even like with him, obviously you two aren't in the same weight category. Yeah. You're not going to be sparring. You're going to be, but like you're still competing to be like number one. Do you know what I mean? All
the time. And you know, talking about mind fucking, that is literally all we do. And he would win 90% of the time against me when I was a bit younger. Do you know what I mean? Because he's a little bit older than me. Because he was just being that little bit more experienced. So even on the runs, and I know he's heavier than me. And like this is when I was younger, and he was like, he would like act like he wasn't bothered, but that would also make you cave before him, because you know he's not even knackered now. But now he ain't ever getting me on that. We've been to the track a few times since. Admittedly, he is a lot heavier. But we've been on the track a few times since, and he can't stick with me. He definitely can't. I don't know if he mentioned anything about it with you guys on the podcast. I bet he didn't.
We ain't saying anything, mate.
We'll wait for it to be released. Leave it on that one. But obviously with the boxing, you know, is it at this point, is it sort of the sole focus? Because, you know, like typically at sort of 16, 17, you usually go to work and whatnot. But like for you, like where were you sort of at that point?
Yeah, well, at the time I was at school when I was at that level. Obviously went through the amateur ranks, boxed I got to the junior ABA semi-finals on like 11 bouts.
That's big, isn't it?
Yeah, like on 11 bouts. I mean, these kids that had like 40 odd bouts, and it was just now called the youths, which is like the first one before you go senior. And I was like 16, I think, or 15, 16, just about to turn 17. Got that done. Lost the eventual winner. It was a killer. I can remember going back to work, 'cause it was like a school holiday, and I can remember going back to work on a building site, and I was hodging bricks or whatever you call it up a ladder.
Killer.
My back was killing me and everything. I was like 16 years old, going on my phone at lunchtime and seeing the kid who I thought I beat in that semi-final, seeing them get their England kit and flying out to box in the Tri-Nations, and that just killed me. And I was just sat there at lunchtime like thinking I should be getting on a plane to box in Ireland for England. And you see them with their England kit and stuff, and it killed me. That's another thing that just pushed me on. Obviously, you still need a little bit of money at the weekends and stuff, so you need to work and things. So
must have left like such a bitter, sour taste in your mouth, like being on a building site.
Yeah,
like makes it 100 times worse.
Freezing cold, bloody rain, horrible. And all the boys are up at the England camp and getting all their England vests. And oh God, I can remember it like it was yesterday. Went home, another little cry. Do you know what I mean? But these are the little things you've got to do. You've got to.
They're the battle scars, aren't they?
Yeah, that's what push you on. So then I went on from that.
Just to pull back, obviously, like £60 a day. I'm guessing you were getting on the building site as well.
Oh yeah, if that.
Like if
I was going to say probably less.
I was like 16,
40s.
16 years
Is that
old.
what it is? Was that what it was back
That
then?
was that like 10, 12 years ago? You're probably you're probably knocking about 40 quid for the day, mate.
£40 for the day.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I was like, they didn't have a forklift, so I was hodging the bricks. It's like 12 bricks at
I know
a time
the ones
on your shoulder. My ribs are killing, and I've had to do it all myself. I'm the only labourer on the site.
Mate, the labouring role is the worst role by so far. Like
you've got to do it. You've got to do it.
It builds you as a character.
Yeah, work rate as well. It disciplines you and definitely instills work rate.
100%.
Because if you ain't working hard as a labourer, then you're off, mate. And also, mate, you actually have to have a certain type of mindset to actually work hard as a labourer. Because if you're getting 40 today, and like you're getting told to hodge however many concrete blocks you were all day, every day, it's like majority of people just jack it.
Yeah, mate, sure. And I actually don't blame them, mate. Yeah. I remember like having to dig a trench out for the entire week, just one trench, like for an entire week.
I'd done that as well.
I've done a couple of trenches.
I couldn't jack because if I did, my mum would have hit the roof, would have beat the shit out of me.
Really?
No, she ain't that bad, but she used to she would have made me go down the chip shop and get a job there. And I was like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, that's
I can't be seen in the local chip shop. Yeah, do you know what I mean? I'm going to be a boxer. So yeah, it's
must have
it's
been
all
tough.
life lessons. Yeah,
for sure. Lessons. But when you're labouring, are you training simultaneously at that point?
Yeah.
Oh mate, that's harsh. I used to when I laboured, like I would get home at 6, mate. I'll be asleep by half 6. Do you know what I mean?
Get up early doors as well.
Yeah.
They want the first mix on. Like,
I know that.
They
You've got to put the sandbags in the mixer.
Yeah, they want the first mix on at 7:30.
Yeah,
so they can start dead on at 8 or 7:45.
The bricklayers.
So the bricklayers. So you've got it muck on their board for 8 o'clock. So they can start laying bricks.
Oh, mate, the mucking on the board was the worst. I remember that.
It's just tough.
They go like, mate, that's not wet enough.
Yeah.
Mate, that's too wet. What are you playing at?
Mate.
With that little trowel.
The trowel, when it goes like that and they flick it off.
They're like, mate, what the hell is that?
You're like,
that's too wet. That's like a bit of soup, that is. That's what they say to you. It's like soup, that is. Go do it again. So I have to scrape off their boards, go down. Another bit of sand in the mixer to make it drier.
That's what I mean by like you actually need a certain type of mindset to do it, because like you literally get treated like shit when you are the labourer. You just got to persevere.
You're at the bottom of the food chain.
T-boy.
Not even just the bottom of the food chain. Like you're like getting slaved out. Like you are getting slaved out.
Slave labour.
It actually is.
It's horrific. But like I said, it is life lessons, and I appreciate all that now.
For sure,
you know
mate.
what I mean? Because I know kids that haven't had to do that, and like a few of my mates that didn't have to do that, and they're not in the best positions now themselves. And it's just like because their mums and parents were a little bit more sort of
built differently.
Yeah, they were like they've been brought up a little bit different. It was a little bit easier for them. Like I used to have to like. I used to have £2.50 a day for like my lunch money. I used to have to save that up, right? If I want to go out to Wimborne on a Friday night. Do you know what I mean? That's the sort of mum I had. Like, but I appreciate that now. But at the time, I hated her for it.
Yeah, it's true.
But I was like, do you know what I mean? And it's just, when my mate could just go to his mum, can I have £20 to go to the shop? And she'd go, okay. Boom. And I would just be like, I'd be so fuming at the time, but now I appreciate it.
You also don't even take into consideration when you were a kid, like the circumstances your mum, my mum or your mum's going through at that point.
Exactly.
She probably only has £2.50 to give you, mate.
Exactly.
She's got to pay the bills. Do you know what I mean? But like you're not conscious of it in that moment because you don't know what you don't know and you're just a kid.
Exactly. It's like I said, it's just a life lesson.
Yeah, it is, mate. So obviously at that point, you don't get the call up to England. Heartbroken, safe to say.
Yeah.
What happens next?
Straight after, back then you could turn senior at 17. I just turned 17. And then they had the senior novice championships, which is like under 20 bouts. So I'd finished that. I think I was about 15 bouts. So I was still with under 20 bouts. So I could enter the senior under 20 bouts national championships. So I did that, boxed every single round, boxed David Hayes' cousin on the way.
Was David Hay there?
No, he wasn't.
Oh, nice.
He wasn't. But like, my dad got talking to their parents and stuff. I was like, oh yeah, he's related to David Hay. Like, boxed every single round, won every single round, then won the national title at 17 years old, the youngest in it to do it at the time. Like,
tell us about the feeling, mate.
Hey, that's unbelievable.
Unbelievable at the time. It was so like, yeah, surreal, really like surreal. And it's mad now because I still got the kiddie I beat in the final, and he was born on the same day as me. I don't know if he was a couple of years older than me or not, but like our birthdays were on the same day. It's mad. He was a lad from Liverpool. He's a bit heavier than me now because he's now pro as well. He's like a light heavyweight or something, and yeah, just mental. Like I said, he's grown and I've stayed the same.
Must have been such a great feeling though, because like a year or two before that, you've missed out pissing down rain on a building site.
It wasn't even a year. I think it was like 6 months or something, because it was the championships, and then when I turned 17, I could go into the other championships. Yeah, so I was on a building site, and then I've just won the national title. It's just like a big contrast, and you're just like buzzing from it. Do you know what I mean?
Isn't it mad that it can completely shift in 6 months.
Yeah.
Like we've talked about this before. Like all you really need is a good year,
Yeah. 100%.
and like the trajectory of your life can just go like upwards rather than
just need a focus for 6 months.
6
Do you know what I
months.
mean? 6
Yeah.
months, be really focused. I don't know, it's a bit different in boxing because everyone focuses. Do you know what I mean? Well,
For
majority of the lads focus and stuff. But I mean, in life, if you commit yourself, apply yourself for 6 months fully, you're going to be miles ahead of anyone. Do you know what I mean? You could be in a much better position than you were 6 months previous, you know?
And then if you do a following 6 months and you build on the initial 6 months, it's game changing.
Unbelievable, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So obviously when you win the national championships, at this point, is it the focus to be like a professional boxer full time?
Yeah, I think so. I always thought I'd go towards that route. Do you know what I mean? When you're in school, you're like, yeah, don't worry. Like they're like, oh, I'm going to kick you out. I was like, I don't care. Like, I'm going to be a professional boxer.
Yeah, nice.
I think you just say it anyway. Do you know what I mean? It's just, my aim at the time though was to try to get on the Olympic squad, which never happened for me, which was a bit of a shame and stuff. But it's just that's boxing. Don't know if I was even good enough to get on the Olympic squad at the time. I was very young and stuff. So
how old were you at that point?
When I won that championship, I was 17. So it was just like for the next few years. But they pick their lads like 4 years in advance because obviously the Olympic cycle every 4 years and stuff. So I was competing with all the top lads and stuff. I was like the best in the country. Top 10 rankings. This really annoyed me. There was like 3 lads in the top 10, the Boxing News top 10 rankings that I'd beat. 3 lads, and one lad I lost on split decision in this top 10 rankings. They never put my name in the top 10 rankings. I'm now ranked number 8. So like as a professional, so I'm happy about that. But as an amateur, they just never put me in. There was 3 lads in it that I beat that year. I was fuming.
Must have spurred you on though.
Yeah, again, it spurs you on.
What do you reckon it was? Like, why do you reckon you weren't like sort of picked for it?
I don't know. I really, really don't know. It might have been because that year, like I missed the weight for championships, like falling out with ex-girlfriends, and then I put on a bit of weight, and then
bit of comfort eating.
Yeah, didn't make weight for the championships that year, so I was out of the main championships. So yeah, I just think it was just one of those. It's just, yeah, that was that.
Yeah, no, yeah. We've heard about sort of the pickings and stuff, and it seems like the criteria for it is like quite varied because it's about what they require rather than like who's the best boxer. Because
for sure. Like I said, I don't know if I ever would have got on the Olympic squad. They probably picked the right guys. Do you know what I mean? But that was my focus, the name at the time, because obviously you're an amateur and you're focused towards that. That was what Chris was focused on as well. So because he was a bit older than me and he'd done things, I'd done a lot of things that he did. He sort of paved the way for me a little bit, and like still is to this day. You know, obviously boxing on Sky Sports now, and you know, trying to do what he's doing. Do you know what I mean? So,
healthy competition still.
Exactly, yeah. But it's like friendly. It's friendly and stuff, and he's just showing us the way.
Sure.
Yeah, mate. I think it's also like really beneficial for everyone, right?
Yeah.
Like just the healthy competition, but also like working together, training together. Like it's just healthy.
Yeah, definitely. So we don't train in the same gyms. I sometimes go up to his gym to do a bit of sparring.
Yeah.
Done a couple of weeks up there where I'm like doing a bit of training, you're learning and stuff off of him. But we still get sessions in down here when he's down there, go for runs.
The running,
stuff.
yeah.
Just like even little questions when we just like sat around. I went and stayed up at his early, I think it was February or January, late January, early February. I went and stayed at his in London and just asking him questions about, I had a coffee before we went to the gym and stuff. And it's just learning. And that's just all you can do at this stage and stuff. So I'm just trying to take every bit of knowledge I can along the way.
Yeah, mate, it's ledge. And also with boxing, it's like, it's unique, isn't it? Like not many people have gone through the path. Like, whereas if you're like saying business or like, you know, what you do, what I do, there's quite a few people that have done that path.
Yeah, so loads of people to ask.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? But boxing is like quite a small segment in terms of like,
especially being down here in Bournemouth. There's no one on our level. I know it sounds really big headed. There's no one really on our level like mine and Chris's.
It's not big headed.
Chris is miles ahead of me at the minute, being from what his titles. So it's just he's where I want to be.
Yeah,
so he's like the only person that's, you know, relatable. I know there's a few people like Steve Bennell that's been there before and stuff, and won a few good titles. Who's actually my manager on paper at the minute. But yeah, he's a massive help, Chris, having him around and a good idol for young people, and that's exactly what I want to be one day. So people can look up to me, the young lads coming through. And I know I'm like that in our amateur gym. And I come in, they're all like, "Oh, Lee, can you come to my fight? Can you help? Can you corner me?" I'm just like, "Mate, I'm hardly here. Can you just like have Kev or someone else in your corner?" You know,
It must be nice though. You've got the young kids looking up to you.
Oh yeah, it is. And sometimes like the other day we had some sparring in they hardly ever see, but the only day that they could the sparring partners could get it was the day that the amateur club was on. So all the juniors and that were watching. They were like, they're like, "Oh my god, you're so good!" And there's like afterwards they coming up to you and like, "Wow, that body shot and stuff." And it's just like what I do day in, day out. But it's just for them to see it. And it was like how I was with Chris, you know, we're both competing with each other, and it's just, that's good. That's going to inspire them on to do better and to do bigger things. And hopefully it makes boxing bigger for this area. And that's what we want. That's what me and Chris aim to do. Make it big on the South Coast, and Bournemouth, what a place to do it.
Yeah. Mate, I rate it. Yeah, sick, mate. So obviously, you know, after that, you know, in terms of not getting into the Olympic squad, how do things sort of like push on with the boxing? Are you working at that point as well?
Yeah, still working at that time. I was doing a bit of sparking apprenticeship.
Hard to juggle the two, I can imagine, right?
Yeah, it is. It's just one of those. When I left school, got kicked out of school for just being a nightmare. A little bit of fighting probably, and the rest. Got kicked out of school. Early study leave they called it. So I go back and do my exams and stuff. But I couldn't go to the prom. I was fuming about
That's
that.
harsh.
Yeah. That was it. So yeah, left school, went and done a bit of sparking. Fell out with my boss a few times. We were more like brothers. So I was boxing at the time. He loved boxing as well. So we used to always go train together after work and stuff. Fell out with him. So then I went selling cars, but I was also still boxing at the time, still amateur. And then one year I missed out on a quarterfinals spot in the championships. Against a fight that I thought I won again, but just didn't. And I didn't want to wait another year to try the championships, to try and get back on that GB squad. So I just thought, right, this is the time to turn pro. And we turned pro from then.
Yeah, mate, it's interesting because like from what I've seen, a lot of people that I know that have like dedicated themselves to boxing that aren't professionals, like they manage it like simultaneously whilst like a career. And I always think like that's so difficult because like boxing requires so much effort, especially like in terms of like commitment and like you're running after work, like working like say for example like a 9 till 6 selling cars, then like training 3 times a week and running 3 times a week. Like it's a lot, isn't it?
It is a lot, but people don't understand, like obviously boxing, the early days of boxing, even as a professional, I've always been lucky. Like when I first started out, I left my job, I could work in the gym, get by. Obviously I didn't have to pay too many bills and stuff, so I get by. I had good sponsors, I was in a good position. But boxing doesn't pay like early doors. Everyone thinks professional boxer, you must be loaded. I wish I was, you know what I mean? I really wish I was. Like that's the aim of the game for me.
Yeah.
You know? So it is about money. I've sacrificed too much now. I'm 27 years old. It is like, obviously I love and I want to achieve, but the main goal is to you know, to have money and have my faculties still. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's reasonable as well. Like if you dedicate your life to something, like you need to be able to earn out of it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And with boxing, it seems like, you know, probably quite similar to most sports, but like the top 10% or top 15, 20% are where like the majority of the money is. So like if you are maybe in like the bottom half, like in the bottom 50%, like you need to work simultaneously because like nothing's going to pay the bills otherwise.
I'd be lucky enough where I don't have to work, but there's people out there, still boxers, that boxing at the high level on the TV that still are doing scaffolding. I saw one last night. A lad was a scaffolder, but he's boxed some top names in that. And people have to, if they've got kids and stuff, you've got mouths to feed. And if you're not getting the fights all the time and you're not signed to a big platform and you can't rely on that money, so it's a lot harder. So yeah.
For sure. So when you decide to go pro, obviously at that point, what's sort of the aim and how does it sort of roll out from there?
Just go pro, or just think, all right, let's try and make as much money as I can and get to the biggest platform possible. So started off in my pro career, quit my job so I can give it 110%. And then had my first few fights, knocked a lot of them out. I was sort of on a good roll.
What did it feel like obviously going pro? Because it's like can imagine it's probably similar to when you first get carded, right?
Yeah,
like that sort
similar.
of buzz.
It's like going pro. I sort of knew the top level amateurs are better than some of the lower level pros. Trust me. I know that from experience from sparring lads when I was an amateur. Do you know what I mean? I was getting called in to spar Chris Eubank when I was an amateur still. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying I was better than him at the time, but I was better sparring for him than some other pros.
Why don't you think some people go from the amateurs to the pros? Like I always remember like Gilbert at Poole, and I swear he had like 100 fights or something like that, but never decided to go pro.
Back then for him, he said it just wasn't a big thing. The money wasn't there. Like nowadays, we've got obviously social media, the AJs. AJ has made our sport absolutely massive.
Yeah.
People don't appreciate it when they slag him off.
He's the GOAT.
He's the guy that brought it's a mainstream. Obviously, there's football in that, but he's
the picture boy, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. With his looks, talks, and everything. Do you know what I mean? He's the full package, and he's what's took the sport to the next level.
For sure. By the way, just got to pull back when I said he's the GOAT. I don't think he's the GOAT for boxing, by the way.
I was going to call you.
Just got to clarify that. I mean, for like promotion.
And this like sponsorship deals and
I'll
everything.
be getting called out for that
by the
boys.
You would get called out for
like,
that one.
obviously, I'm a Fury fan. So,
I think Fury beats him all day long. But
same.
It's just, for what he's done for boxing, you can't ever knock him. Do you know what I mean? And he has fought everyone that's been put in front of him. Do you know what I mean? He could have ducked Usyk last, do you know what I mean? But he didn't. And I look up to that because I'm like that. I will never duck anyone, never have ducked anyone, never will duck anyone. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, I'll take the best fights for me. Do you know what I mean? But when you only get given an opportunity, you have to jump it and have to take it, you know?
For sure, mate. Obviously, did you see AJ at his last fight when obviously he lost?
Yeah.
The pressure got to him.
The mental pressure, and like everyone's like laughing about him, but being there and then being like I sort of knew what sort of position he's in. You've got to think, and I'm like nowhere near the level that he's at. So you just got to think it just with your head and your mental well-being. Like it's got to fuck with you. Do you know what I mean? And
the whole world is watching it.
Yeah, the whole
scrutinizing
world,
him.
Yeah, he's probably got sponsorship deals relying on it. Like. And with boxing, everyone thinks so it's not like a football game. You lose and it's like, oh, well, you've got next week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like your sponsor's still going to be there and stuff. He probably had about 3 or 4 sponsorship deals. Like, mate, you lose this one, we're dropping you. Do you know what I mean? And some boxers are like, yeah, so what? Like if that's what happens, it happens. But that's still going to be subconsciously on the back of your mind.
Yeah.
You know, so there's so much pressure.
Also, you've got, like you mentioned about the football, if you lose a football match, you just, all 11 of you just leave, get in the changing rooms and go. Whereas like him, like spotlights on him still.
Yeah.
He's in the ring with a microphone right after it. Like, how can he not pour his heart out?
Yeah.
It felt like he like lost it for a bit to me when I was watching
100%.
him. And like, I couldn't blame him, like considering the magnitude of everything. And obviously like, you could clearly see that he had poured everything into that camp and he just weren't good enough for the second fight in terms of like matching up with Usyk. But like, obviously that pressure and like that level of pressure, like how do you sort of cope with the pressure you feel when you're under the spotlight? Do you ever get like, have you got any coping mechanisms or how do you sort of get around it?
It used to be a lot worse than what it is now. Like I was talking to you guys off camera and stuff. I always thought there was a lot of expectation on me and I always cared about what everyone thought about me around the town if I was out walking, but that's something I just don't give a shit about now. I couldn't give a shit what Tom, Dick and Harry thinks of me because they ain't there. They couldn't even dream of being in the position that I'm in. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, we go on to talk about the loss and sort of what that done for me, but you realise who's there and who isn't, who matters in your life. And obviously getting older, you realise that. But I just don't give a shit what anyone thinks about me now, this day and age. I'm just like, I'm getting older, I'm more mature. I know who matters in my life. They're the people I want to impress.
Yeah, I think it comes with age as well, that sort of thing.
Oh, 100%.
So when you're younger, you're surrounded by everyone at school and you're like, I want to impress him, want to impress her, I want to do this. But get older and you don't really get surrounded by as many people and everyone's doing their own thing as well.
Oh, 100%.
So as soon as you realise everyone's doing their own thing, you're in your own mind, you know, you've got your own, just your close friends and family.
Everyone fails on a different level. Like, if I fail, it's on TV or it's, you know, it's out there for the public to see. But That's why it's so like you're under a microphone or under a magnifying glass. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but you're taking bat, mate. You're having a swing. Do you know what I mean? And like,
and most people would do that. So
that's what I mean.
Why do I care what you think about me? Like, not you personally. Why do I care what you think about me?
Yeah, I hear you.
You won't do this. Do you know what I mean? Like if somebody that's done it, been there, and they want to have their opinion, please have your opinion. Or somebody that wants the best for me and have their opinion, please do. But don't sit there quiet, wait for me to fail, and then chuck your 5 pence in, because that pisses me off. It's like, no, you're just waiting for me to fail. Like, everybody fails. You fail, but you just fell quietly because you're not underneath that microphone or underneath the magnifying glass. Do you know what I mean?
They fail in the background. You fail in the foreground, mate. Like, everyone's watching you fail, whereas a lot of people can fail and no one would ever know they failed.
I put myself in that position, so I've got to expect the bad stuff that comes off the back of it, whether it's, you know, bad publicity or bad posts on social media, you know, becoming a reel, or, you know,
you did that to the lad at the Steam Fair, mate. So
yes, true. So what goes around comes around.
Yeah. Also, like, you know, fuck them. Do you know what I mean? Like, exactly. It's just like, if people are going to be like that, then you don't need any of that energy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And if someone's going for something and someone's taking their shot, right, they're taking their shot and they fail or they come up short, you should be like, fair play for taking your shot. And if you're not, you're a hater, mate. Yeah. And if you're a hater, don't need you in my life.
Yeah, don't need you in my life. Like, I just stop worrying about those people now. Do you know what I mean? The only people that matter to me is my friends, my family, my support, people that want the genuine best for me. Not people that say they want the best for you, really. They don't. They're sitting there and waiting for me to fail. And that's another thing I took from Chris. Like, a lot of things from Chris, like, he's like that.
Yeah.
He jumps at every fight. Like, now when it, you know, the Coley fight's getting mentioned, he's like, yeah, go on then, let's do it. Do you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't care because he's got the people in his life. He's got his wife. He's got his family. Like, he doesn't care what anyone on the outside thinks. Do you know what I mean? He's done things that nobody will ever even dream of in their life. I've done things that nobody will ever dream of in their life. Do you know what I mean? So what is somebody that's wouldn't even really go play football for school because they're worried about if they tripped up on the sideline and what they would look like, let alone box in front of hundreds of thousands of people on TV. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, mate, I'm completely with you. But obviously that state of mind is something that you've been able to get to now. And you briefly touched on it with the loss. So professional career takes off really nicely, yeah? But then obviously, is it fight 8? Or
my 8 fight, I got given an opportunity. Obviously, COVID happened. No fights happened for about a year and a half. I was out.
Were you training during that year and a half?
I had got any, like not an excuse. I don't make excuses. I have reasons for why what happened. But I was doing a bit of training when we could start getting back to gyms, like, you know, like distance stuff. I was doing a bit of training, doing some back squats, and done my cartilage in my knee. It like chipped off the ligaments in my knee, chipped some cartilage off, and it was like. Is
this your first like proper injury as well? Have you had little niggles and stuff before?
I've had loads of niggles and that, like broken hand and that, but it's a few weeks in your back. But that was like 6 months. Could not do anything. Couldn't walk on it. You know, so I had to like strap up my knee and stuff. But then 6 months go, pretty fat. Obviously lockdown, drinking.
Gets tough like that. We've all been there.
January comes, I thought, right, now it's time to get in shape. Didn't have a nutritionist on board and that, and I thought, right, I've lost weight quick and I'm like feeling great for it. I'm like, yeah, look at me, I'm looking good. But
so when you say you didn't have a nutritionist on board and you've lost it quick, what sort of measures are you going to?
Starving myself. Like starve myself.
Fasting.
Fasting for like doing 3 sessions a day without eating. Just having a big meal at night. Maybe a little bit of toast with scrambled egg on it.
Bit of toast
like in the day, just to take my mind off of it. Coffees, loads and loads of coffees, because that suppresses your appetite.
Black coffees.
Yeah, I lost all the weight quick, looking great. Looking like, because I've been fat for the last year and a half.
What was the drop? So like, for example, say, you know, you box at 72.
That day, well, the day of the loss, I was at middleweight, which was 72.5.
72.5. So what were you, and how much did you have to drop to get to that 72.5?
About 85.
Fucking hell. So
85, yeah.
massive.
11.
The thing is, it's not like if you're maintaining your muscle and stuff, that doesn't matter because it was fat on top and stuff. I wasn't maintaining muscle. I was losing fat and muscle at the same time. And
It's not only that, it's what your body's going through. Like your body's used to function at that time at 85 kilos and then it's just dropping. So like
dropping very, very quick. I got to a very light weight, which I shouldn't have done. You know, like you hear about water in your body. And I just got down to pretty much the weight that I was fighting at.
Yeah. And was this within a sort of like 8-week period?
Yeah, it was about 8 weeks. It was January and the fight happened March 20th, I think it was. But like the fight weren't confirmed for ages. I was just losing a bit of weight.
After coming back from injury with the bad knee.
Just losing the weight. Then we got given the fight like 4 weeks notice or whatever. I was training, I'm not like, that's no excuse. I was fit. I was feeling super fit and everything. I lost a lot of weight, lost a lot of muscle. I was nearly fainting in sessions and stuff where I wasn't like hydrated, like being hydrated, like weren't taking my like electrolytes and all stuff that I do now that like I can remember like sparring Ted Cheeseman one day. And I'm sparring and I've tripped over his foot. And I wasn't a genuine knockdown and sparring. You know what I mean? I've like tripped off. I've got up, like quickly got up. And you know, like when you get up and you go lightheaded when you've been laid down for a long time. But that happened. I was only down, like fell over quickly, got up and everything's gone warm. Luckily it was the 8th round.
Dizzy.
Everything's just like the whole room's moving around. I'm thinking, right, just keep moving. See about 3 of them at the time. So I keep moving. I've gone back over, the bell's gone. Like, thank God I got through the round. I said, Kev, like run to their fridge. They had like a Wow Hydrate fridge. I was like, grab me one of them, like the energy drinks. So I thought it was just like low blood sugar or whatever. Ran to the fridge. I'm literally about to go and I just got some energy back in me and come back around. I was like, oh, wow. Like, but at the time, I'm just like, oh, well, just something that happens, you know, something that happens.
Were you like conscious of it happening though? Like,
yeah, like
when it happened, were you not like, fucking hell, something's not right here?
Yeah, 100%. I was just like, something's not right, but oh, well, this is just what I've got to do to lose the weight. It's like, I had such little knowledge of
what you don't know, right?
Yeah, I've got such little knowledge. And I just thought, all this nutrition stuff, some big money making things. Like I heard like and watched like documentaries on like, say for instance, like protein shakes. I don't know what it is now, but like they didn't like used to when I watched these documentaries, they never used to have to like pass them off or like so anyone can make it. You could just make a protein shake with whatever you want, chuck it in, sell it.
Yeah.
I don't know, they might do it now where it has to be tested before it's sold, but back then they didn't. So I just thought it's all just like a money-making scam. Just lose weight like they did years ago, just like starve myself as much as I could. I didn't even eat after the weigh-in. So I obviously got given that big fight. Let's fly here. Yeah. Let's see how fast I am. You missed it.
So you got given that big fight. You've lost so much weight.
I lost a lot of weight. Just not in the right way. Like I said, it's not excuses. I hate making up excuses. It's not excuses. It's just
facts and reasons.
Reasons why what happened. It might have happened even if I'd done it properly, but I don't think so.
It sounds like, you know, it's not that you're making an excuse. You've realized the mistakes of not giving your optimum performance because of really just like an understanding of nutrition. And at that point, you know, the benefits of it.
And just like, obviously boxing's, you're taking punishment and taking
non-stop.
So yeah, I got given the fight. It was the weight above. But I was just like, oh, well, I'd sparred this lad and he didn't even win a round against me. And that's no like disrespect to him or anything. I think he's like said he was ill, like, and that's fine. Also on the spar, but I thought there can't be too much difference. Get on with him like really well as well. So we were just like, let's take the fight. He's way above me, but I believe myself. This is my time. Like I'm on Sky Sports. This is it.
What did it feel like? Obviously, like with Eddie. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of Eddie. Like it's mad. Yeah.
You know, like beforehand, like, and I'm getting like interviews and stuff. I'm like, I said to Kev, I was like, is this like Kev's my coach, obviously. And I was like, Kev, like, is this real? I'm not like dreaming this, am I? I'm at the like open workout. Sky Sports have come up to me and like shoved the Sky Sports microphone in my face, said, knew everything about me. Hi Lee, you're undefeated. How do you feel about this fight? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like
Crumbled.
Yeah, I love it. Like I'm just like, and then I'm like going back to Kev, I'm like, Kev, I'm not like dreaming this. You know, like you hear people have like mental episodes and stuff and that, and like where they actually believe something's happened that's not. And I thought that was happening to me. I was like, because this is what I've dreamt of from such a young age. And obviously the fight happened and stuff. Obviously weighed in, didn't go to plan.
What didn't go to plan?
So just like we weighed in, for instance, I got to a really light weight, but it was the weight above what I'm used to. But normally I would probably get to a heavier weight to get to the weight I'm at now and cut in water and then rehydrate myself back up to a substantial weight so you can hold the shots better. You're stronger in there. But I didn't eat a thing after the weigh-in. I probably had a Lucasade Sport.
That's mad.
A Lucasade Sport, then obviously got 24 hours. I just couldn't eat because of nerves. But I had to get like, if I knew about nutrition and knew, like now it makes sense because in sparring, when I was losing the weight, I wouldn't eat and I'd literally go sparring and stuff. I'd feel the shots a lot more. Obviously got head guards on and bigger gloves. I'd feel the shot, I'd get buzzed 24/7. Like every sparring partner that I was getting in with, I was getting like buzzed, but I was having no carbs in that. I didn't know, but obviously I weighed in, didn't eat anything before the fight. I had a quick banana and a energy caffeine shot before. So I felt mint. I hadn't eaten anything in like a day. I was like, yeah, I'm buzzing. I'm up for this. Getting in there, it's obviously at the time they were doing behind closed door shows. It was at Wembley Arena, but it was obviously on Sky Sports, but there was no one in there. So it was dead silent. And
God, that's airy, innit?
Do you
know what I mean? Like
it's mental,
just dead silence, no
dead silence. It's just all you can see is just him, his opponent, your opponent across the ring, his coach and stuff come in, touch gloves. And I'm just like, all right, feeling good here. Like yeah, I feel great because I'm like, my energy feels good. I'm just like, all right. Go to the center of the ring. Let's get my head snapped back with a jab straight away. It's like switched me off for like a split second. And I'm just like, that's just his jab. I'm like, yeah, that feels weird. Obviously, you're in your 10-ounce gloves and they were dangerous. They're like, people think boxing gloves on the TV, they see them and they think, oh, they're like big pillows compared to like UFC. Mate, it's not. It's literally there in your knuckles. Like, I'll get you like, they're sparring gloves, but I'll show you a pair of
10 ounces,
yeah, pop a pair of 10-ounce professional gloves. He hit me with a good jab and it switched me off for a split second. I was like, wow, like that hurt, and it was a jab. And I was just like, all right. Then I got into some rhythm. I was snapping his head back. I was like, I'm winning this round now, comfortable. And then I started getting a little bit comfortable. I put myself on the ropes, so I'm going to make him miss now. Hit me with an uppercut, just put me out for like a split second. He hit me with a good combination of punches. It wasn't even a big punch, he just threw it fast and that, and it just put me out for a split second. I nearly fell through the ropes, but I come back around as I was falling out the ring. That's how I know, like, it wasn't like to the force where it completely knocked me out, but it was switching me off for a split second. So your legs are like, your whole body's switching off for a split second. And that's like what happens in sparring if you're not carbing up. So I fell through, like grabbed the ropes at the last minute. If you knocked me out, I wouldn't have even been able to grab the ropes. So grabbed the ropes, got back up, thought, I'm going to chin him now. Still believing in my head, right, I'm going to knock him out. As he's come running, boom, 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 put me over again. I'm like, I've gone down, just like touched my glove on, got back up. I'm like, oh God, here we go.
What's going through your head at that moment?
At this point, I thought, oh, I'm in trouble, but I'm still going to win. You still believe you're going to win. And this is what people say, like there's like some footage. And then obviously the third time he comes running in, I'm thinking, I'm going to catch him. Because the build up of the fight, we'd boxed like, I think one opponent we both boxed. He went to points with him. I knocked him out in the second round. So I was seen as the puncher in there, even though he was a weight above me. But the kid, he was like 6'3", I think. Big, long levers. And I thought, right, I'm still going to catch him. He hit me with a few good shots, and then I've like stumbled on the ropes, like held the ropes. The referees just waved it off. So I think it was a 3 knockdown rule, or like, yeah. So I don't think I went down, or I think I might have went down, and then I like held the ropes. So it wasn't like knocking me out completely, but it was just every shot was switching my lights off, and it was like for a split second. But then since then, I've just learned, obviously, nutrition is such a big part of this.
And not dropping the weight so dramatically, right?
So dramatically, and maintaining your muscle and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like another thing, everyone's like, oh, like, how did you feel, like, obviously, when it happened and that? But like, I still genuinely believe, like, there's like a little camera footage of me. Obviously, I've watched it back a few times. I haven't watched it for a long time. But I'm on the ropes like that, and I'm like, I can remember saying, no to the ref. Like you can hear me saying no to the ref, like because I knew the ref was about to wave it off. And everyone's like, I think it was on Twitter, and I seen people comment like, is that kid mad? He's about to get iced out. Because like probably the next time I would have been iced out completely because I'm like gone completely. But at that time, you still genuinely believe you're going to win.
Yeah.
It's madness, but that's why you need to be saved from yourself sometimes. And, you know, I was saved that day by the referee, which I thank because I was not in a good way. But yeah, that's the mindset of a boxer. Do you know what I mean? A fight to the death, and I'd rather go out on my shield than run tippy tapping. Do you know?
Yeah,
what I
of
mean?
course. So obviously you lost that fight, mate.
Yeah.
How did it go down, just for you as a person and mentally?
Because it was like at that point in your career, penultimate moment, right? It's the biggest fight biggest show you had been on. Sky Sports, hometown, first show of that magnitude.
Yeah.
How did it feel after?
The worst possible feeling like anyone can ever feel, because like you've got to think, I genuinely believed this was my time and my opportunity to break onto the big screens. And from there, I just see all I could see was winning and moving on to bigger and better things. That obviously didn't happen, and it's just I can remember going home. Like Chris was there for me as well. Like I had a lot of chats. My coach and that was there. It was just a hard time. Like I would never do it, but I also see, like at that time, I see my people do commit suicide or whatever because I was in such a way. Like boxing was my world. Boxing was my only way. Like now I'm a little bit older, I see there is other things. There is more to life than just boxing.
But in the moment, that specific moment, there isn't anything else to life.
There isn't anything else. Like now, every time I walk out, and every time I did walk out, somebody would remind me about it. Every time I'd go to a bar with my mates, somebody would remind me about it. And obviously that didn't happen straight away. Like I didn't go to bars straight away. But like this time me and Chris went for a walk down the beach. I think it was like the next day because he boxed on the same show. And he would just talk. And the bloke on his bike was riding past. Goes, oh, well done the weekend, boys. So he knew, like, obviously, well done, but he was saying well done to Chris.
Yeah.
But it wasn't really, I don't know if it was snidey. He was saying well done to Chris, but he knew I was there. But he didn't want to say, oh, well done, Chris. Oh, unlucky Lee or whatever.
The thing is, it must be hard from the other end.
That's a randomer. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just going down, it just that sinks in so much. And it's just, it's brutal.
It's worse, obviously, because you're there with Chris, who obviously as well. But also I see it from the other side of it. Like if I was to see you and you'd lost, like it's hard to think of what to say because you want to say unlucky, mate, but and then like you also don't want to remind you that of what happened. So
and also it's just like how many times would have you heard that? So like you just be like, do you know what I mean? Like you just think I'd rather not say anything.
The thing is that I didn't mind it from coming from Chris because he's been there. Do you know
exactly.
What I mean? He's lost it. Never to that extent. As an amateur, he got stopped a couple of times as an amateur, which he'll tell you himself. It was my first time I've ever been stopped. I've ever been close to being hurt, as in sparring. I've never been put over, never, do you know what I mean? Like, so it just wasn't even in my, like, vicinity. I just never believed it would ever happen. And then for that to happen in the way it did in the first round and everything like that, it's just, what annoyed me more, it was just the fact that I did not show anything. How good I was, everyone was like, I just got blew away. But people didn't know the backstory and that behind it. And I didn't want to make up an excuse because he's a great lad. Like Brad is a very, very good boxer. And it might have played out the same way. You never know until it was there. It's easy me saying it wouldn't. But I know what was wrong that night. And I've just got to prove it in these next few fights now.
Yeah,
for sure. So when, you do take the loss, obviously really difficult time for yourself, which is fucking completely understandable. How do you sort of feel towards boxing at that point?
Obviously, it was hard. Like I was just asking people close, like, shall I quit? Shall I quit?
So quitting was on the cards then at that point?
It was like a thought. It was a thought. I can remember watching, I sat at home. I'm talking about like the mental health thing. And I sat at home and I saw, is it Roman Kemp? He had a documentary on where he lost a friend, and it was really late and I couldn't sleep because it was just like your mind's just ticking over. This is like over the first few days. And he had a documentary how he was talking about how his mate was just so sound and that, and he wasn't, like, you wouldn't have thought it. The next day he got a call that his friend committed suicide, and I was watching that and I burst into tears, and I was like, because that's how I was feeling, like that's how I'm feeling, but I'm never doing that to my mates and my family. Do you know what I mean? I never, like, I wasn't ever planning on doing it. It's not that, but it just, I think that documentary snapped me out of it.
Yeah.
And that meant like that mindset. So straight away, got back in the gym with my coach, got on the VersaClimb, doing a VersaClimber. And that's the first time I got out of breath. I've just got off and I've just burst into tears again.
Yeah.
And it's just because you're going back to that moment, that first time when you were getting prepared for that fight, when you're out of breath, it just brings it all back.
Facing it head on.
Yeah, facing it head on, because we were lucky enough to get a fight out in Luxembourg because it was still locked down at the time.
Yeah.
And they weren't doing shows over here, so we got flown over there from a sponsor. So I was prepared, like my coach was like, look, let's get you back in, let's get you back out, let's get you going again, get you back to winning ways. So then when we went out to Luxembourg, we were I was training for that, and that first session was hard, you know, but it was good because it got me back into that mindset of training and getting my head on the future, not on what's happened.
Yeah. Did it feel any? I think I probably know the answer, but did it feel any type of way like getting back into the ring after? Did like you feel like your mojo wasn't there, or was it just like I'm back in it, I'm back on it, and like we're gonna kickstart from here?
That's the weird thing. Like when you lose, like you don't feel like. Everyone's like, oh yeah, it was a step too far, but I still to this day don't think it was a step too far. Like I believe that was the right fight at the time if I was prepared right.
Yeah.
But you've got to have that mindset as a boxer. You can't go going into fights thinking that you're going to lose. Do you know what I mean? Like my next fight is against an undefeated kid, and I'm never going to go in there thinking I'm going to go ice him out. I'm icing this kid out. Do you know what I mean?
Of course,
and
mate.
Still, it's just my mentality. Like I went back in the gym and it was like,
Nothing had happened.
Like nothing had happened. And
Yeah.
I'd like, obviously you still got eye on your mindset and people reminding you, like I was saying, like you're going out to town and stuff. When I started going back out, and everyone was reminding you about that moment. Yeah. That was hard as well. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm over it. I'm not really thinking about it. But people, every time I'm out, coming over, I say, oh, I'm lucky on that. And it's like, bringing it back. Oh, cheers, mate. Yeah. I'm trying to have fun with my mates. You're just like,
I don't really want to be hearing that.
You're like bringing it back up and stuff. But
so tell us about the fight in Luxembourg.
So fight in Luxembourg, yeah. So I was back training hard. I think it was like 3 months after. I can't remember really. Went out to Luxembourg. Got flown out there. 3 of us did, me, Joe Pigford and Jack Simpson. You guys might know Jack Simpson.
Yeah, went to school with him.
School,
Yeah.
So we all went out there. Our opponents were shite. They were so bad. Like, but that fight wasn't about fighting a world beater or, do you know what I mean? It was about
getting back on your feet.
Getting back on my feet, going through the motions of making the weight correctly because I took on a nutritionist and getting big after just practicing things that I didn't do before.
So was that the catalyst, that fight, to bringing on board the nutritionist?
Oh yeah, 100%. Everything was just worked around, and then because I brought on nutrition, it was so hard to lose the weight. Like the weight's harder to come off because you're doing it properly. You're maintaining your muscle. So when you're starving yourself, your muscle, everything's just depleting. Your body's just like falling away. Yeah, you look in great shape, but nothing like you do if you're doing it correctly by keeping your muscle and stuff.
And is this also where you got like a strength and conditioning coach at this point as well?
Yeah, which is Sam Joy. At a time before we went into all his property and
shout out Sam Joy, by the way.
He's a good mate of mine. So he's how I got injured as well, actually, doing back squats with him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it wasn't his fault. It was probably my fault. I just tried to push that a little bit too far. I went that a little bit too deep on late in the set, and that's how it snapped. But yeah.
So you're obviously preparing yourself so much better for this fight in Luxembourg.
Yeah,
like nutritionist, strength and conditioning coach. Like you've got yourself going. So tell us about the actual fight itself.
The actual fight.
I know you mentioned he was shit, but
yeah. So it was weird because it was like in a sports hall. It was like the amateur days.
Oh really?
I wasn't even nervous considering I did.
Did you take a private plane out there?
Yeah.
So you took a private plane to a sports hall?
Private jet out there, like 5-star hotels. All done by the sponsor. It was great. We had a great time after, but
then
that's a story for another day. But the fight we got there was a sports hall, and weirdly enough, I've just been iced out live on TV. I was not nervous at all. I really wasn't nervous. I was laughing, like having a little joke in the changing room. Just like, why am I not nervous? I got in there. It was the weirdest atmosphere. No one there apart from my sponsor, my coach in my corner and that. And it was just like, it felt like a spa. And he was just shite, this guy. So I just ran across the ring, hit him with a few jabs, little feints and stuff. And hit him to the body, spat his gum shield out, gum shield back in, hit him to the body, gum shield out again. And because I'm just so switched off, he catch me with like 3 overhand rights on the bounce, which is giving me a black eye. He's got boom. Because I'm just so switched off because he's so shit at this time. I was like, oh, right, I've had enough of this. I ran, hit him to the body again. Down, that's it, finished. You know what I mean?
It's probably just what you needed.
Yeah.
Like to be able to have those 3 big shots because you know your chin's like there.
Yeah,
if that makes
exactly.
sense.
And it was over in, it was like those overhand rights, they shouldn't even landed. They were just, we were just so switched off. Like, it's mad how I just was in that mindset after just being beaten like I had. Just because it was just such a weird atmosphere, such a weird...
Mate, I wouldn't be surprised genuinely if it was like your subconscious.
Yeah,
like
true.
being like, I need to just eat a few shots just to like make it known to myself that like I can wear these shots after like the previous fight, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, he was nowhere near as big and as strong as Brad.
For sure,
but yeah, it was good to take him to know, you know, I do have a chin. I know I do have a chin because I spar huge punches in sparring, do you know what I mean? But yeah.
Who is the biggest puncher you've fought in sparring?
Probably a heavyweight or something, but it's weird because in sparring, the heavier the shots though, I can see them coming, so you can brace for them.
Is that because of like the gloves have like obviously got more ounce in them? They're a bit like slower and whatnot.
And obviously the heavyweights they're lower. If they're faster, I find them harder. I find them harder, and the shots stun you a bit more because it's more of it's a faster shot. But like the heavier shots that I know hurt a lot of people, they're the ones I can brace for.
Yeah,
I've got good reactions. I can brace for the shots and see them coming a lot more. It's weird. It's a weird sort of. It's a weird way, but yeah.
Yeah, mate. I can imagine it's all dependent as well on the individual and like how your style matches up with theirs.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like
you're open for certain shots that they're good at.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like,
overhand
my
right.
style's different to somebody else's. You know what I mean?
And
styles make fights.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. Like if you look at like I don't know Andy Ruiz and Joshua.
Yeah.
You look at that matchup and you're thinking Joshua all day, but then Ruiz just like fastest hands, like the worst like opponent for him in that moment.
Like boxing, for instance, say us three, we're all boxers. Like I could beat you. Let's work this out.
Yeah. He could beat me and I could beat you.
Yeah, exactly. He could beat,
And you'd be thinking in your head, well, if he's beat him, then I can beat him.
I should beat him, but it's the styles. Yeah.
That's it. Exactly. The styles make fights because he's made for my style.
Yeah.
You're made for his style.
Yeah. I must fuck with you a little bit though, because if you've mentioned a few times throughout your story that you've like beaten a few people who have gone on to go on further than what you have, or you should have beaten a few people. So it must fuck with your head thinking like, I can beat him. Like, how's he over there?
It's matchmaking as well, right?
Yeah, matchmaking.
Look at Floyd.
Having the right people behind you.
Sure.
That's what we're very lucky with now, obviously, with the Sky shows coming down south, which is all thanks to Chris and Joe at K4 Global, who's helped out massively from getting these shows down here. That's why I'm in the position I'm in now. Just winning and getting back on that big platform.
So for sure, talk to us about that then. So obviously you come back from Luxembourg.
Yeah.
Career in terms of like progression rolls out. You have another fair few fights, right?
Yeah, back into winning ways, feeling good. I box again close to Christmas against another journeyman, but he was a tough journeyman, never been stopped in the first round, and I set him up, boom. Left hook to the body, lovely shot. You can hear it from a mile away as well.
That's your shot as well, isn't it?
Left hook to the body. That was it. He was done. Done him in the first round. No one had ever done him in the first round. He was he was ranked as a light heavyweight as well. I know he shouldn't have been light heavyweight because he was carrying a bit of weight and stuff, but I had to take that fight because it was just I think it was just after lockdown. He was like the only one that was available, so I was like, I should beat him no matter what the weight. So I put on a bit of weight for it. boxed him, stopped him in the first round. He had boxed light heavyweights, big punches, and that never stopped him that early. So I was like buzzing, yeah, all good. After Christmas, over the Christmas period, we got told that we're boxing for the Southern Area title, which was a bonus and big for the area. And no one had ever won a Southern Area title. There were a couple that had boxed for it from around here. I know Chris has gone on to do bigger, and he went past the Southern Area title. But it was like big for this area, to have it at home as well. Sold out the O2 Academy. It was
Sick.
buzzing atmosphere. I've got videos of like when I stop him and everyone's like hands in the air.
There's that photo of you on the ring after, in there.
Yeah, that's a cool shot.
Unbelievable.
Sick
And
shot.
my little flag in the background with people. It's so good. So stopped him in the second round. Again, it was a good little fight, good little stepping stone for me. And then the Sky Sports shows come to Bournemouth, and I think that was the last time I spoke to you guys, wasn't it? It was just after the first one. So I had the first one, had a tough lad. He was hard as nails.
So that first fight back to Bournemouth, obviously it's the first Sky Sports show that you're going to be back on since
The loss.
the loss.
Yeah.
Obviously in the hometown in Bournemouth, penultimate fight for you in terms of your career, and also retribution from the last fight.
Yeah.
Talk to us about the build up. How did you feel in that moment?
I was nervous because I was like,
Reasonably, right?
anybody that seemed like, 'cause obviously Sky Sports is a national thing. Like I know people would see me on the small hall shows from around here, like my friends and family see like a box. But nationally, like nobody has. The only time they've seen me box is against Brad Ray, unless you're into your boxing and knew me as an amateur or whatever. So I was nervous. I was really, really nervous for that one because I was like, I need to show the world, or show the boxing world, or the boxing public that I can actually box. And it was a great fight.
Do you remember the weigh-in? Because it was at the beach, right?
Yeah. Oh wow. It was like in Vegas.
It was
or
sick, wasn't it?
LA or something. But it was in Bournemouth Beach, and unbelievable to have this sort of platform in Bournemouth. Again, Sky Sports coming up to me with the Sky Sports microphone, asking me about it and stuff, and it's just.
Like Johnny Nelson was down, wasn't he?
It
Like
was
a fair
mental,
few of them. Like
I remember Johnny Nelson talking, because I saw him a few months previous in Barso, and he was like, and I said, you'll see me on Sky Sports one day. And he actually mentioned it as I was weighing in. He goes, I met Lee a few months back in Bournemouth, and he told me he was going to be on Sky Sports, and here he is. So I was just like, yeah, that's cool.
that's sick.
So yeah, I'm going to be back on Sky Sports. Got the win. Give me a good ranking as well, because he was actually ranked higher than me.
Tell us about the win, mate. So obviously you're buzzing through the weigh-in, been on the beach down in Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Like, tell us the walking into the ring. What were you feeling like?
Getting over to the venue, like what was it all like?
Yeah, that was. We were at the Hilton, staying at the Hilton, because you stay in like a little bubble. No, it's not a bubble, but it's like you stay keep all the fighters at the hotel sort of through the weigh-in and stuff. Because obviously the traveling fighters, but even the ones that are local, you stay at the hotel. We were outside waiting to go over to the arena. They said, Lee, you're on fairly early. We need you over and get your hands wrapped in that. We're waiting for the, I know it's only in the BIC, the Hilton is, but we were,
That's like a 20-second walk.
yeah, it's like a 20, you've got to go around the back. But I was like, I can't be bothered. Let's just it's like they've got a little taxi run that runs you there.
You couldn't be bothered to walk
But
there.
we couldn't find the taxi driver. And so
I would have done the same, mate. I would have definitely got the
I was
taxi.
like, mate, I want to feel the bees.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Fair
So in the end, we couldn't find where the driver was. But this little shuttle bus that's got like me and my whole team. So we're like, where is he? So I'm like, fuck no, I have to walk. But it's like getting on. Like everyone's in the pubs and clubs, like in Tonic Social and that, drinking outside the other bars and that down there. So I thought, we're gonna have to walk, aren't we? So we walked down, and then that's pretty cool. Like obviously people that are coming to watch me, but
Sick.
driving past, all in there was like beeping their horns and like cheering in Tonic
sick.
Social, like, come on, Lee.
It's better. Do you know what?
And I
Next
was
time
like-
it comes down, you should just walk.
Yeah, I know.
You should set it up.
They've actually moved. We stayed last time at the Village Hotel, which is out of the town, so it was a bit.
Not as good, yeah.
I can't really say that because they sponsored the event, but yeah, it's not as good as the Hilton anyway.
Sound.
Yeah, but yeah, so we walked and it was just atmosphere. Everyone's like shouting in that, so that's obviously makes you nerves. You're like, oh God, you're like, here we go. And the next time I come out of this building, I would have boxed.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
nice.
But obviously for you, like after the magnitude that you felt of the last show, like this is a really, really big fight for you, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's like make or break. Do you know what I
Like
mean?
genuinely is at that level, isn't it?
Yeah, I've got that mindset where I'm just like, all right, if it doesn't work out for me here, I'm back to the building site, you know, and it's just needs must, and that's that. So it was make or break for me. It was a good opponent. I was probably the only one on the card that actually had an opponent that was ranked higher than me in the world. So he had a few losses and stuff, but he had boxed top quality opponents, and they were never a fight that was like one-sided. It was always, you know, he always give as good as he got.
You needed that, right?
Yeah, I need that, and I was nervous for it because I knew he was there to win. From Tanzania, I think he was from. So yeah, I was in the changing rooms. You're out the back. You haven't got a clue what's going on in the arena, how big it is. Obviously, before when you get to the arena first, you have a little. We actually had a walk around earlier on in the day to see what it was like, and it was mental. Like, just see, like, you think later this is going to be packed out with everyone screaming your name. Like, you see all the big like signs, the photos of you up and everything. It was mental. But yeah, I went to the little changing rooms.
What's your little pre-fight ritual for this one?
I don't really have a ritual. Just the only thing I do is make sure my left glove goes on first, because everything starts with a jab.
Yeah,
nice.
A jab, and you know what I mean? Everything comes off the jab. That's the only sort of pre-fight ritual. Some good music on, which my coach always sorts out.
What sort of tunes we going for?
I love singers.
I've seen your videos, man.
Yeah.
I know the tunes you're about.
Like, I'm not like one of those. I'm not a gangster. Like I said, I'm from Verwood, Dorset.
Steam fair vibes.
Yeah, like I just like the singers. You know, 9 to 5. Something just gets me going. Like in here on a Friday when my body's hurting, I want to like
feel good,
feel in that good mood. Like not that gritty music. I just want to be, you know, enjoying it, and that's gets me in a good mindset to go in there and, you know, not thinking, oh, it's a be all and end all here. You're still nervous. But yeah, getting your hands wrapped. And so you've got the cameras coming in, filming you and stuff, and you're like, this is big. Like, this is big. And I was like the first one, I think, opening up the show. Or the second one on Sky on the YouTube channel and stuff. So I was like, the cameras are coming in, like looking around you while you're getting your hands wrapped. And in your head, subconsciously, you're thinking, this is big. Like afterwards, my coach said he went to the toilet and he like, he's not very religious in that, but he like crossed himself. He was just like, please, just be our time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just please, this is in Bournemouth.
I love that he's done that without telling you in the moment as well, because he wants it that bad for you.
Exactly. And he said, we wanted it that bad.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He knows what I put into in the gym. So we all wanted it.
I fucking rate that.
Yeah. We all wanted it bad. And and then it soon comes around. You think you got ages, then all of a sudden, Lee, 5 minutes, and then you're like,
boom.
That's what the whip they call, like, whip only knocks on the door. 5 minutes, mate, and I'm just like, here
Game
we go,
time.
here we
time.
go, and then there's cameras and that following you down the hallway and stuff. Aaron was doing a bit behind the scenes as well with me and stuff. And when you watch it back, it's weird. You like listen to what you say and stuff. Like I'm like, I don't have a clue of what I'm saying beforehand, just to like build yourself into it. I'm saying stuff like, I need this. Do you know what I mean?
Because you need it in that moment.
No, that moment is so important to you and you alone and like your team. And it's mental. And then you just see how nervous I'm walking around, or like watching it back. You see how nervous everyone is. I got my brother there, my mate, and you just see everyone's face and how nervous they are beforehand.
I'm getting goosebumps.
Yeah. It's just, you watch it back, but at the time you don't realize I'm just only focused on myself. And then they're like, right, your team can go down to ringside now, Lee. You're coming behind the stage. You know, give everyone a cuddle.
Yeah.
And like, that's the last time I'm seeing them. Do you know what I mean? That's the last time. And then you like walking out, and then you can see like sort of behind the screens and that, like how big the arena is, and how like at the time it was only like half full, but it still felt full and it was loud. You can hear them go, there's only one Lee Cutler. And then you hear his music stop and then mine start, and you're just like, when you hear the announcer go, Lee, chaos, and then it's just like mental, and it just all goes so quick.
Did you switch in that moment?
You switch, like you switch before, but you're just like, I'm trying to take it in as well, because you're a long time retired, you know, and you want these memories. You don't want them to. It's a good thing about it being on Sky and stuff. You can sort of relive them, and but yeah, such good memories, and to have like all your friends and family there, and it's just mental. And then obviously the fight goes on. I can't really remember much of the fight. I don't really watch them back. I watch them back like once or twice. The annoying thing is afterwards you go around people's house, let's put your fight on. Like, no, I don't want to. You know what I mean? Because I get annoyed again. Like, I hate the sound of my own voice. It's the same with boxing. If I do something wrong, it will annoy me, and I'll go home and I will be thinking about it at night, and I'll be like, why did I do that in the fight?
Yeah.
You know, and it's just it's one of those things though. But yeah, great experience.
So obviously you won the fight, mate. Tell us about the fight. Tell us about the feeling afterwards.
Unbelievable. The fight was a tough fight. He done what we thought he was going to do, was going to give me a hard test, and it was what I needed. Nailed me a few times. Another thing, you know, got a chin like where I thought I didn't, you know.
He's durable, wasn't he?
Durable. I was hitting him with everything. He was wobbling for a split second. Then he just come charging at me again. And I was nailing him with clean flush hands. And normally I would nail someone and that'd be it. Like when I won my Southern Area, I'd nail him with a good shot. And it'd be like, don't want any of this. And it'll be like the second take coming into your range, into your punching distance, and then you've got to go looking for them. But he was just there. Wasn't the best technical boxer I've ever boxed or sparred or anything, but just tough as nails. And I was nailing him with everything. And it got like tiring at the end, because I just thought, normally I just hit him with some good shots and that's it. And then it's all in I'm in control. You never give up. You never give up to the end, and that's what you want. You want somebody in there that wants to win. Yeah.
So when you win,
unbelievable. The feeling was unbelievable. But it's weird. Like, you think it's an unbelievable feeling. Like I boxed on Sky Sports. Like, this is what I've been dreaming of. It's a bit of I forgot the word. Like a come down moment. You're just like, I can remember both times I've gone and sit with my mum. Everyone's like around you, like, oh, well done, mate. But it's just like, I've dreamt of this moment my whole life. You don't think it's going to be something something it isn't. You're like in your head, like, ever since I was at school, I want to box on Sky Sports. When I'm watching Sky Sports, I sparred him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I want to be that guy that somebody's saying about me. Like, I sparred him and he's on Sky Sports. And then that happens. And then it's like, it's just like a bit of like a surreal moment, but it's just like, it wasn't quite what I thought it was going to be. It worries me a little bit of that, because
I think that's the same as everyone with any goal, right? As soon as you get it, it's just like, what's next?
Yeah. And it does worry me, because I think, will I ever be happy? Because I thought, obviously now the goal's headline in Bournemouth. Well, my next one is like a title fight in Bournemouth. If it becomes a title fight, I know it's a 10-rounder. But yeah, that's like my next goal. And then from there, it'll be headline in Bournemouth on Sky Sports. But like after, it's just a weird feeling.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's like also like, obviously I didn't live it, but from an outsider's perspective, it almost feels like it's a relief as well at that moment, because of the pressure you had put on yourself. Like, and obviously you go to your mum, just like I would go to my mum, because it's like the most comforting person. Just go and sit next to her and be like, whew, like, thank God, like that went how it should have gone, if that makes sense.
That's it. It's a massive, massive relief. That one especially.
That one in particular, right? After this previous show.
After like, I sort of showed what I'm about. Sky loved me. I heard like the next day they were like, called up my like manager and was like, he was great. You know, he could talk well afterwards. And yeah, it's just surreal. Then you're like looking back on social media the next day and you see like people like filming their TVs and me on the TV. Yeah, you're just like, that's cool. Yeah. That's really cool. But you're just like, it's something you just got to take in your stride and just got to keep pushing for more now. I want to, you know, be in the position that Chris is in, you know, and bringing the shows down here for the next level to come through, or the next boxers to come through, and then they could be thanking me like I am Chris, you know, like, thank Lee for bringing the show down here, or being at a level where you can headline a show, warrant a show being down in Bournemouth, and that's what I want
for sure, mate. So straight after that fight, are you back in the gym after a week?
I went over to America. We went to America. That was my second time over in America. Just have a bit of time off. We sort of knew there was going to be another show in Bournemouth around December time. So didn't box in between then and December. Come back from America and had another fight lined up which was good. I fought Joel Julio, who boxed for a world title, been in with lads that had fought Canelo Alvarez, and a tough, durable opponent, good record, knocked out like 33 of his 39 wins, lost very few. So he was tough. He was at the end of his career. I do know he's at the end of his career. I know that. But he was so experienced and just out of range. Like when I nailed him a few times, he was just on his bike and very, very good at just getting out of range and very, very experienced. Like after the first few rounds, he knew he wasn't beating me skill-wise. Just a bit young, a bit fresh for him. Nailed me with some good shots as well, where he was just slipping out of the way, countering me and stuff. So, got to the end of that fight. I was like, I thought I was getting so close to stopping him. Then I was like, all right, there's 2 more rounds left. It's right by Christmas. Christmas is a big thing for me and my family. Like, 'cause my mum's just always done great Christmases for us. So I was like, I don't want to make a stupid mistake when I'm so far up on the cards by trying to knock him out, get stopped myself. So I sort of come off the gas a little bit and just sort of was still backing him up, but just off the gas, just got to a points win, which I won every single round. It's another box ticked.
100%, mate. And I think we'll leave it on that. Mate, thank you so much for coming on today. Really appreciate it.
No worries. Thank you for coming to the Dream Factory. It's where dreams are won and lost in this place. So yeah, thank you for coming here.
Love it, mate. And we'll definitely be at the show. And obviously, I want to say it from myself and I'm sure Callum as well. But like, mate, we wish you the absolute best of luck with everything. Yeah. I'm sure you're going to smash it.
Thank you very much.
And I want you to get them titles, mate.
Yeah, get them, mate.
Thank you very much, boys.
For sure, mate. We'll leave it there.